Okay, so in this video, I do want to speak about Ferran Torres because things are getting a little sticky for FC Barcelona and the number 9 position because we have just seen Lewandowski score 2 goals for Chicago Fire. We have let him go. And the whole idea was for us to let go of Lewandowski, keep Ferran Torres, and to continue to reinforce the number 9 position. However, there is a possibility that in this summer, it could be a summer where we might say Barcelona lost 2 of their strikers within a span of 2 months. Something that we never even thought about or could have happened. But now we sit here today and Ferran Torres could be moving to PSG after letting go of Lewandowski, right? Like I've said, the whole idea was to either let go of Ferran and keep Lewandowski, or let go of Lewandowski and keep Ferran Torres. But to let both of them go in the exact same summer, like what is Barcelona's plan here? Now, here's the thing. There has been enough reports and enough reliable reports saying the same thing, and they have been concluding that Barcelona's whole idea was to keep Ferran Torres and let go of Lewandowski. They want to retain him, and that is why they offered him a renewal, and a renewal that will not be proposed and accepted until September later this year, only because they have to pay Man City an extra 7 to 8 million euros, and they do not want to spend that money within this summer. They want to spend it in later months, right? But not in this summer. They want to reserve as much money as possible to make sure that Barcelona have enough firepower and enough funds to sign further players down the line and in the next 2 or 3 weeks. So Barcelona have made a proposal to Ferran Torres, an improved offer, but at the same time an offer that would suit their needs, right? A salary structure that is not going to over amplify their wage bill, but at the same time it is a salary structure that Barcelona have lended that does not satisfy Ferran Torres. Ferran Torres wants a bigger boost. Ferran Torres wants more money. I don't know what it is, but I'm pretty sure that maybe Ferran Torres is asking for maybe 5 to 8 million euros more, just for example. So Barcelona for sure are not going to be entering a bidding war with PSG because PSG are the main ones to talk about in regards to this operation of Ferran, right? PSG are interested and they're giving Ferran Torres a bigger wage, something that Barcelona are not willing to give up. They don't want to do it. They don't want to go into a bidding war. They're saying, look, this is what we have to offer for you. This is going to be a financial package that, yes, is a slight improvement, fits our financial means, but at the same time, if you don't want to accept it, we're not gonna like up our offer. It's just not gonna happen. We're sorry, but it is what it is. And if you want to go to PSG because they offer you more money, you're more than welcome to go there, and we'll start the negotiations for you to go to PSG. Something that Atletico Madrid should learn from, right? But Barcelona cannot compete, obviously, with the salary offer that PSG is giving out. And if Ferran Torres confirms in the coming days that he does want to leave and go to PSG because he does like the sporting proposal and the financial proposal, Barcelona will negotiate because they're not a club that wants to keep an unhappy player. Like I've said, Atletico Madrid should be taking some notes. But one thing is for sure, though, Barcelona are going to be having some respect to this operation because what they don't want is to sell Ferran Torres in this summer for less than 55 million euros. They want to sell Ferran for more than 55 million euros. Hopefully, Barcelona are asking for around 65 because that wouldn't really make a lot of sense. And in terms of his book value, there's like 12 million euros left to pay off for him. So if we were to like sell the player for 65 million euros, the profit there is going to be huge. Barcelona will for sure get financial help to make sure that they can sign other players in the future, whether that is Julian Álvarez, Joao Cancelo, or any other CDM or center back, who knows. But according to Food Mercato, coming from Santi Awana, he has explained that Ferran Torres wants to join PSG. He has also reportedly communicated that desire to the people close to him and several Barcelona teammates. So he has said this to many people around him, saying that, yes, I do want to go. Like, I don't want to be here at Barcelona anymore. It has also been stated that, however, Barcelona have received little direct communication with Ferran Torres' representatives, and the club now expects Ferran to clarify his intentions when he does return from his extended post-World Cup break. Atletico Madrid are also very interested, but PSG are currently appearing to be the ones in the leading race. So PSG are the front runners. They want him. Atletico Madrid are the second ones. I don't know. We'll see. I don't think that Ferran Torres is interested in going to Atletico Madrid, especially knowing that there's already a lot of striker options there. I mean, like, at the same time, you can say the same thing about PSG. I just think that the reason why Ferran is inclining himself to PSG is because of Luis Enrique and his impact, right? This is what's going to lead me towards the next conversation, right? Like, why does PSG want him and why does Ferran Torres feel comfortable going there? And that's because Luis Enrique is the main driving force to the operation, right? So like he is saying, hey, look, Ferran, this is my plans for you. I want to integrate you in this way. We understand it, that you can operate as a center forward, as a left winger, as a right winger. You can be very mobile across the line, and we will find enough minutes for you and make you even better, right? Don't even worry about trying to compete against Cavara, Dembele, Doué, Bacola. There will be minutes for you. We'll be moving players out and you'll get enough goals in. Keep in mind that Luis Enrique also has a great relationship with Ferran Torres because Luis Enrique has coached Ferran Torres before during the Spanish national team times. And I do think that Ferran Torres has the capability, if he were to join PSG under a well-functioning system, to improve his goals because he's also coming off one of the most productive league campaigns of his career so far, right? In the last league campaign with Barcelona, he made 33 appearances, scored 16 goals, and provided 2 assists. That's really good, right? So like he was not starting all the time, nor was he playing 90-minute matches all the time. But when he did come into games or when he did play the first 45 minutes, he was very effective, very powerful, very efficient, and that is the reason why his value is going higher and higher, especially knowing that he scored the decisive goal that led towards Spain winning the World Cup final against Argentina. And so PSG do view him as a very flexible attacking piece rather than somebody who is like a traditional striker. It does seem like over there in PSG, they do not want to have a Harry Kane or Erling Haaland type of striker, right? They have won 2 Champions Leagues without a true number 9. And they're going to continue to go with the exact same path as they go to this brand new season. And now with Ferran Torres, because Ferran Torres is not a traditional number 9. He is somebody who will be very flexible, staying different positions within the front 3 or across the front 4. Very interesting, right? Because it makes you really wonder, does Barcelona even need a true traditional number 9? We'll see. Let's see what happens next, because in terms of PSG and Barcelona, I would tell you guys this one thing. Right now it's August 2nd. I'm recording this on Sunday. It's highly likely, based off all the reports that we have seen, that PSG and Barcelona will begin negotiations between Monday and Wednesday, right? Those negotiations will happen. We already know that the personal term agreement has been all said and done between Ferran and PSG, but expect for this operation to be advanced by the end of Wednesday. Expect for negotiations to begin by Monday or Tuesday, and by Wednesday we should hear like some advancements that yes, Ferran Torres will become a PSG player in the coming hours. So expect that. As of right now, at the time that I'm recording this video, and if you're watching this on August 2nd on Sunday, there is no club-to-club agreement that currently exists, but they will be working on that very soon and in the coming hours, starting fresh on Monday this week. And so remember, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, because whatever does happen, we'll be talking about it here in this channel, and I'll be making multiple videos and see how Barcelona should maneuver after the potential exit of Ferran Torres. There's going to be a lot, and I mean like a lot to discuss, but we'll see how it goes. I do think that this could affect the operation of Julian Álvarez, because if Barcelona really do make these profits with his sale and his exit, for sure Barcelona will be in a greater financial position to bring in Julian, and especially in terms of the wage bill, because Ferran Torres does earn around 9 to 10 million euros gross a season. I think a little more than that, but all in all, it's still wages that you're going to be reducing and taking off from the wage bill, even on top of the Lewandowski wages. So Barcelona will be saving a lot of money to the league. This is going to look very good, and I think that whatever Barcelona have to offer to Alvarez in terms of the wages, it should be no problem, especially like I've said, if Ferran Torres does leave. But it does put Barcelona in a very, I would just say, delicate situation, because letting go of Ferran Torres does not guarantee the transfer of Alvarez. I'm just saying that if he were to come, things will be very comfortable, but we don't even know if he's going to come in the first place. We don't even know if Atletico Madrid are going to want to negotiate with us at all, even if Ferran leaves, right? Because if Ferran leaves and Alvarez wants to come, but Atletico Madrid are like, no, you're not going at all, then what is going to be Barcelona's answer? Because can you imagine us going into the brand new season and we say our only true number 9 that we have in the squad is Hamza? And we have just talked about Hamza before. Like, we have a lot of, I would just say, enthusiasm to seeing this guy play, right? We think that he could be somebody special. However, he's not going to be the answer for Barcelona in the coming months, and especially in the Champions League matches in the upcoming season. It's not that he's not the answer. You have to give this player time. I would say in about 3 years, we'll see where he's at. I mean, I would love to see Hamza just explode like Lamine Yamal did, but not everybody's going to be Lamine Yamal. Not everybody. So I'm going to expect Hamza to take some time to adapt. He is not our answer to the number 9 position. So there comes the question, what will Barcelona do next if Fernandes leave and Alvarez never comes in. I'm going to just assume that Hansi Flick is going to just say, look, I want a number 9. It's real. We even heard Fabrizio Romano also claim this like a couple of hours ago. It's very clear that Barcelona want to reinforce the number 9 position, like that exists. But if it does not end up happening, I'm going to assume that we're going to be trying out different wingers in the 10 position, meaning we could even see Dani Olmo play as a false 9 with Fermín López as the number 10. We could see Rafinha go into the number 9 position. We could see Anthony Gordon, who also plays as a number 9, go on there and have Rafinha on the left. We can do many of those things. We can even use Adeyemi if we need to. Adeyemi can also play as a false 9. So there is options there. It's just that ideally you can just see what Flick wants. And he does want a Alvarez type of player. Somebody who presses well, somebody who brings a lot of agility, a lot of enthusiasm to play, somebody who can also score goals and maybe provide 35 to 45 goals a season. And so, like I said, we'll see how it goes. Whatever does happen, we'll be talking about it here in this YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out, guys.